In the practice of Arizona real estate, the duty of reasonable skill and care forms the backbone of every licensee's fiduciary and professional responsibility. This duty ensures that every client receives competent, honest, and accurate information so that they may make fully informed decisions regarding their real estate transactions. The obligation to communicate material information and verify the completeness of disclosures is not merely ethical. It is a legal requirement grounded in ARS, paragraph 32-153, and AAC, R428-1101, which together define the standards of professional conduct for Arizona real estate licensees. To exercise reasonable skill and care, a licensee must ensure that all material facts, defined as any information that could influence a party's decision to buy, sell, or lease property, are disclosed clearly and accurately. This includes facts that affect value, condition, or desirability, even if those facts are unfavorable to the licensee's client. For example, if a licensee is aware that a property has had repeated roof leaks, even if the seller considers them repaired, the licensee must disclose this to the buyer because it materially affects the property's condition and future maintenance costs. Arizona courts have consistently reinforced this duty. In Hill v. Jones, 1986, the Arizona Court of Appeals held that sellers and their agents must disclose prior termite damage, even if repaired, because it represents a material fact affecting the buyer's decision. Accurate communication also extends to verifying the information being shared. A licensee cannot rely solely on a client's statements without reasonable verification when such information is central to the transaction. For instance, if a seller tells the licensee that the square footage of a home is 2,800 square feet, but the county assessor's records indicate 2,600, the licensee has an obligation to reconcile that discrepancy before representing the figure to prospective buyers. Misrepresentation, whether intentional or negligent, can result in disciplinary action under ARS, paragraph 32-2153, which prohibits making any substantial misrepresentation or false promise in connection with a transaction. Equally important is the responsibility to ensure that all disclosure documents are properly completed, delivered, and reviewed. In Arizona, several disclosures must be provided as part of residential and commercial transactions, such as the seller's property disclosure statement, SPDS, lead-based paint disclosure, and, when applicable, the affidavit of disclosure under ARS, paragraph 33-422. The licensee's duty does not end with delivering these documents. They must also make sure their client understands them. For example, if a seller fails to complete the SPDS accurately or omits known issues like a past flood or an unpermitted addition, the licensee must address the omission and advise correction. Commissioner's Rule R428-1101 further reinforces this expectation by requiring licensees to exercise reasonable care in ensuring that all agreements, contracts, and disclosures are properly executed and contain all material terms. A failure to review these documents for accuracy or to confirm their timely delivery to all parties can be construed as negligence or incompetence. Consider a common scenario involving a buyer purchasing a home in Gilbert. During inspection, a roof defect is discovered, and the seller agrees to repair it before closing. The buyer's agent has an obligation to confirm that the repairs are completed by a licensed contractor and to communicate the documentation to the buyer. If the agent neglects this verification and the roof later leaks again, the agent may be held liable for failing to exercise reasonable care and due diligence. This principle was echoed in Lombardo v. Albu, 1997, where the Arizona Supreme Court held that a real estate agent must act with the same care as a reasonably prudent professional under similar circumstances. Ultimately, this duty encompasses two primary functions: accuracy in the information provided and diligence in ensuring disclosures are correct and complete. A licensee is not expected to guarantee perfection, but they are expected to act with thoroughness, honesty, and professional judgment. The Arizona Department of Real Estate views this as a cornerstone of consumer protection and a critical measure of professionalism in the industry. Review summary. The obligation to communicate material facts accurately and ensure complete disclosures lies at the heart of reasonable skill and care in Arizona real estate practice. Licensees must confirm the accuracy of all property information, verify client disclosures, and deliver all mandatory forms promptly and correctly. Failing to do so may result in disciplinary action for negligence or misrepresentation. This module underscores that competence involves both knowledge and proactive diligence. Knowing the rules is not enough. The licensee must apply them consistently to protect all parties in the transaction. Discussion prompts. Why is it not enough for a licensee to rely solely on information provided by a seller? Answer. Because the licensee has a duty to verify material information and ensure accuracy before communicating it to third parties, reducing the risk of misrepresentation. What does the Hill versus Jones case teach us about disclosure obligations in Arizona? Answer. That sellers and their agents must disclose known defects or past conditions, such as termite damage, even if they have been repaired, because such information materially affects the buyer's decision. How does AAC R428-1101 define reasonable skill and care? Answer. It requires licensees to act with competence, diligence, and honesty in all professional activities, including verifying and accurately communicating material facts. Closing remarks. The responsibility of a real estate licensee in Arizona extends beyond facilitating transactions. It encompasses a legal and ethical duty to ensure clients and customers receive truthful, complete, and timely information. Every disclosure, contract, and statement must be handled with precision and integrity. By fulfilling this duty, licensees not only protect the interests of their clients, but also uphold the reputation of the entire industry. Reasonable skill and care are not abstract principles. They are daily practices that define the difference between ordinary performance and true professionalism. Supporting sources and key case law. ARS, paragraph 32 to 153. Disciplinary actions for misrepresentation and incompetence. ARS, paragraph 33 422. Affidavit of disclosure requirements for property outside subdivisions. AAC, R428-1101. Licensee duties of competence, diligence, and care. Hill v. Jones, 151 Ayers 81, App 1986. Disclosure of prior termite damage is mandatory. Lombardo v. Albu, 199 Rs. 97, 1997. Agents must act as reasonably prudent professionals,